How did I go about producing my cover of Flowers by Miley Cyrus?
I didn't want to leave you, baby. I didn't want to fight. Starting to cry, but then remembered I can buy myself flowers. Write my name in the sand. Talk to myself for hours. Say the things you don't understand.
Welcome to the mix. I'm ABD. We are in Ableton Live 10, and we can go through track by track and discuss how I went about arranging the song. You can start with the drums, which I used Easy Drummer for. So at the beginning of the chain, we have Easy Drummer 3, and we use the tight room, tight and punchy, full mix setting. And we have the mixer set to audience perspective. And if we solo just the drums, here's what that sounds like. Cool, and if we add some bass to that, here's what that sounds like. So if we go back to the drums, we have Easy Drummer, followed by a Puig Tech EQ to get some punch on the kick drum. We have it boosted and attenuated to 5, and it's set to 60. Then we have a little bit of saturation, gentle saturation. And then we have our reverb we're doing through Valhalla Vintage Verb instead of the Easy Drummer. And then we have a little bit of EQ to remove a little bit of 15K. That's on the kick drum. If we go to the snare, we have Brauer Motion, which is a stereo modulation plugin, which kind of moves our snare around back and forth. So it's not perfectly in the center the whole time, otherwise that would kind of get fatiguing. So that's kind of a neat little trick to kind of add variation to your snare. And then we have below that we have some strings that are played throughout the song. Cool, and then we have different strings down here which are a little lower. These are used for the pre-chorus. You might be familiar with what this sounds like if you know the song. It's kind of one of the more center points of the mix, and so we can solo that. Yeah, so that's what the strings sound like, and for those strings, we're using Contact Session Strings 2 on the studio string setting for the higher part, and for the lower part, we are using a different type. We're using the M-Town 60s or Motown. And for effects, we have the reverb, we have a stage reverb, and a little bit of delay on both of them. And so below these strings, we have a shaker, and so if we bring in the shaker with the percussion, you can take a listen to what that sounds like. And then we'll bring in the strings. We'll bring in the bass. Cool. And then down here we have, for the rhythm guitar, we're using Guitar Rig 6 from Native Instruments. And then we have Wider, which is a stereo kind of widening effect using the Haas effect. And then a little bit of EQ to remove the low end, and a little bit of the resonance around 250. And we're using the tremolo twang guitar, because in Miley's version there's a guitar that has a tremolo on it. And so if we listen to the guitar by itself, here's what that sounds like. And if we add in the bass, and then the drums, add in the shaker, add in these strings, and then down here we have a lead guitar, which we are also using Guitar Rig 6, but it is a different preset. It is kind of an 80s lead. In fact, it's called 80s Stadium Rig. And so we can bring that in. Cool. And then really the last thing to go over is the couple layers of vocals. We have the main vocals and then backing vocals. And we have some pitch correction, some EQ, saturation, compression. Then we have an EQ channel strip, the Shep 73 or a Neve type console. And then we have FabFilter DS to DS the vocals. We have another compressor, an 1176 type compressor. And then we have an audio effect rack with our reverb side chained to the vocals to kind of compress the reverb when things are being sung, and then bloom or become louder when the singing or the speaking stops. And then we have a delay FabFilter Timeless 3. And then we have more reverb here to add a little more body to the vocals. And then we're using Isotope Vocal Synth 2 to add some distortion, some chorus, a vocoder effect, and a polyvox to kind of give it some distortion and more body and more of a poppy kind of sound. And then we have FabFilter Q3 again to do a little bit of sculpting on the EQ. We have Brauer Motion towards the end. There's a part where there's some kind of screaming, singing, and that kind of bounces back and forth between the speakers. Just a little bit more stereo motion automation from that Brauer Motion plugin, which is a great plugin. And then a little bit of saturation that comes on at a certain point.
You left no remorse.
And so the vocals, the main vocals were recorded with guitar at the same time. So I was playing an acoustic guitar and singing, and then we added more guitar on top of that.
No regret, I forget every word you said. Oh, I don't want to leave you, baby, I don't want to fight. Starting to cry, but then remembered you love me better, I can love me better, babe, can love me better.
And so if we add some rhythm guitar in there,
Can love me better, I can love me better.
we can add the lead. And everything drops out. Everything drops out here except for the vocals and guitar. You can see here, and then it all comes back in. So here's the full mix. And yeah, that's everything. It's not a very heavy or dense song. Every kind of bit of the song is very effective and has its place in the mix. It's a poppy, light, summery song. The name of the album is going to be, apparently it's going to be Endless Summer Vacation, and it has that type of summery feel. But that's how I went about doing it in Ableton for the cover that I did. If you liked that or found that interesting, there is a music video for the song right here that you can find. And there are more videos about music production and gear and reviews and things like that on my channel. So thank you for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. And remember, I can love me better. Bye now.
Talk to myself for hours, things you don't understand. I can take myself dancing, and I can hold my own hand. Yeah,
To add even more distortion to the vocals, and if we solo the vocals, we can hear what they sound like.
no remorse.
Jesus Christ.
You left